look at the responsibility attached to these characters. Not a single person on Earth really doesn't know them.
It's tough not to think about it like that, and or it's really funny. This is a good one because there was a BBC News article that they had interviewed Antonio Banderas because I'm the voice match for Puss in Boots for DreamWorks. I'm the voice match for Puss in Boots. Fear me if you dare.
That's so good.
He had approved it. We did a series. That was my first Emmy nomination. If you go to Shrek's Cottage in Orlando, Florida, in Universal, I'm the guy that goes, there is a restroom for the men over there. Use the male kitty litter box. I'm the guy that tells you to go to the restroom as Puss in Boots. But it's funny because the article was like, there's a young man from Canada that is doing your voice for the series for Netflix. How does that make you feel? And he's like, that is okay, because that means I created a character so popular, I do not have to be there for him to exist. So he's like, I am Santa Claus, and Eric is Mole Santa. He is in the Sherman Oaks, Westfield Square, letting kids sit on him while I'm in the North Pole with my elves. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, and I love that. There was a moment when The Last Wish was coming out, that amazing film that they did at DreamWorks with Puss in Boots, and because it was DreamWorks, NBC, they had Puss in Boots every weekend doing an ad for football, and it was him describing what it takes to be like a good quarterback, and he's like, you have to be tough, think on your feet. And then he's like, this Saturday. And it was me going, the Vikings versus the Bills. It was me doing the stuff that changes every week.
Oh, really? So he did
like the meat of the commercial. And then I was like, Friday at 8. Yeah, it was
just a tag.
But no one said anything. No one suspected. I mean, I was doing it better than what I'm doing now. But for the purpose of comedy, you have this great performance from Antonio and then me going, do not forget to scan your QR code for Tostitos. I'm like, oh my God, my kid needs braces, so I have to say this. So, it is great. But then there's opportunities where I was brought in to do all of the scratch dialogue before the film was even greenlit, just so the execs at DreamWorks could see how the story was going to go. And that's a big responsibility, working with the director and going into DreamWorks every week and going, get yourself, boss. Get your hands off of that. That's my wish. And then it gets approved, and then they bring Antonio in, and then, there were ads and spots that I got to do because he wasn't available, and then there were things that he wanted to do, I am doing the hot wings challenge, not you, okay? You back it up there, Canadian. Yeah, I remember being in the booth with Danny Trejo, Machete.
That's crazy.
As he was doing a guest spot on Puss in Boots, and I'm sitting next to Danny Trejo for 4 hours, and he does not say a word to me. And I'm doing this voice and sweat, upper lip sweat. And before I leave, he's like, Bauza. I'm like, yeah. Freeze. He's like, come here. And I'm like, oh, hey, man. Good working with you. And he's like, you did a better job than Antonio could have any day of the week. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Selfie? Quick selfie? Thank you. Okay, bye. I'm going to go get some of your donuts. Trejo's Donuts and Tacos. Yeah. John Leguizamo patched in from New York for the show. I'm doing Filipino-Canadian doing a Hispanic voice, Hispanic guy doing a French accent. He was Jacques Sprat. Jean Leguizamo doing Jacques Sprat, and me doing Puss in Boots for 4 hours. And then at the end of the session, and it was over Zoom, I go out to say hi to him over the connection. He's like, all right, who was, John Leguizamo. All right, who's the Joker that was doing Antonio today? Who's doing Puss in Boots? And I was like, that was me. And he goes, that was you? Holy crap, man. He couldn't believe it, Again, when you look like the kid from Up and you sound like Puss in Boots, it is the greatest illusion of all time.
Do you have any desire to create a Filipino character in the animation sphere? Because it is a space that's underrepresented.
They are cartoons already. They are, you have to meet my parents. They are hilarious. Every time I talk to people from here, they go, what's it like going back to Canada and with your family? I go, you remember when Alf went home and all the Alfs were there? It's that's what it is. It's like me as the Nutty Professor. I dress up as multiple people from my family. It's one big green screen at my house, and I'm my mom, my dad, my grandpa. Yeah, they're all jokers. My whole family. If anything, anytime I go home, I always say it's to recharge my comedy batteries, and it is because of my family, and they couldn't be more supportive and like so proud, and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that I have such a great support system.
By the way, you can watch all things Looney Tunes. It's waiting for you on Max. We're going to put a link below, plus the brand new movie. Come on. The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Which is describes any day of the year so far. I mean, it's there. I mean, the film itself is it's like a 1950s sci-fi kind of disaster movie, but right in the middle of it all is Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. Probably the last characters on your bingo card to save the planet.
But a duo that I needed, but didn't necessarily know I needed.
Right. And I feel like that is one of probably the most unsung, because we have Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. We have even Bugs and Daffy. We have Bugs and Elma. Yeah. We have, I say we have Foghorn and Barnyard Dog. Yeah, we have them all. But we never really think about Porky and Daffy. And the one thing that our director always states is that it's the only pairing in Looney Tunes really that isn't trying to eat or kill each other. They're just friends. They're just roommates, or one of them is trying to sell. Daffy's always trying to sell Porky something to improve his life and makes it worse. Yeah, so it was conducive to a story that could be spread over like 90 minutes, where you don't stop and think, okay, well, why are we watching? Oh, okay, they're friends, they're buddies, they're more than friends, they're brothers in this movie practically, and yeah, they're trying to save their home. They're trying to save the Earth from an alien invasion, and it's the kind of movie that you don't have to think much. You just have to sit there, turn your brain off, and just laugh.
But your brain is totally on when you're recording this thing, because you are playing two characters who have dialogue, the most dialogue with each other.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, we would have to do...
we would have to do Porky first, because he's the less strenuous on my voice.
And they're both strenuous in different ways on the vocal cords. But Daffy is always cranked at 11. Like, he only starts at 11 and gets worse. And I mean, there's a scene in the film where, they're in this cave and these rocks start falling because Daffy's going crazy doing his woohoos. And I promise you, when you watch that, none of those woohoos were recycled. I had to do everything. And there was a moment where there's multiple Daffys, doing it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, can we please just copy? They're like, no. We have to go authentic. You have to do everything from scratch. I think I have calves on my neck because of that session. I have the back of my neck has abs.